What is up? Welcome in to The Road to Omaha, brought to you by Driving the Line. My name is Alan Bell. Got a great show lined up for you today. And I'll tell you, the funny thing was I started recording this to do like a pre-tape to put it out. And I was like, man, this stinks. Like, it's no fun without you guys. So we're like, screw it, scrap it. We're going live. We're doing this live. So welcome, everybody. This is going to be, as you guys already know, anybody that's followed us throughout the college baseball season, you know that these are always super interactive. Your input is as valuable as mine. So make sure, be active in the chat. Put any questions you have out there. Put any picks you have out there. Like, we're going to go through this region by region, and we're going to break this down together, right? So I'll drop in my knowledge. You guys drop yours in. You know how it goes. If you're brand new, not only to this show, but to betting college baseball as a whole, let me bring everybody up to speed so that we are all on the same page together. All right, so let me pull this up. So this is the bracket that we're going to use. Now, I know that it's tough to see right here. Don't worry. I've got it spaced out. You'll be able to see it. But go to my Twitter, all right, at Alan G. Bell. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, go to my Twitter, and you can see it on there. You can download it. You can take it right from there. And we are going to use this not only through regionals, but throughout, okay? So think of it like this, all right? You have 64 teams in this tournament. It starts with regionals, goes to super regionals, and then goes to the College World Series. It's bracketed exactly the same as the NCAA tournament, except it's not one and done. All right, and we'll go through that. Don't worry about that. Again, if you're brand new, I promise you, stick with it. Like, by the end of this show, and here in about 2 minutes, you will understand and know everything that you need to know about this. So don't worry. If it's your first time, you're going to be a pro. Don't worry about it at all. So this is how it works. Like I said, we have regionals, we have super regionals, and then we have the College World Series. Okay, so you see, first, the regionals start May 31st. All right, they are hosted by the by the top 16 seeds, which I'll show you in a second. So they are at the home stadiums of these teams. All right, it is double elimination. Regionals are 4 teams. Super regionals are 2 teams, a best of 3 game series, essentially a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday if necessary. And then the Men's College World Series begins on June 14th. Double elimination. There are 8 teams, first round pairings, and then the national championship is a best of 3. So again, 2 teams, best of 3 series, a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday if it's needed. So that's how this thing works. Next, national top 16 seeds. So these are the top 16, and they will host a regional tournament, okay? So the top 8, essentially, and you'll see with the bracket here in a second, the top 8 will host regionals and super regionals if they get there, okay? So you will see, we'll use Tennessee for an example, number 1 team. They will have them and then 3 other teams in their regional. And then if Tennessee wins, the team below them in the bracket, number 16, East Carolina, their regional. So I'll show you all of that right now. So I know I threw a bunch at you, but let's put it into play. And how we're going to do this and break this down is we're going to put both of the regionals that would play each other, the super regionals, we're going to break those down together. So again, let me pull it back so you see how the bracket is done. All right. Top 4, bottom 4 right there, regional. Winner of each regional will play each other in a super regional. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So the first one, okay? So Tennessee, number 1 seed overall in the top 16. East Carolina, the 16 seed. So Tennessee, this will be played in Knoxville. So we're going off the first 4 here. That's its own regional, okay? Tennessee, the number 2 seed, Southern Miss, number 3 seed, Indiana, and number 4 seed, Northern Kentucky. So 1 and 4 will play, 3 and 2 will play. These will begin on Friday, and then you'll see on Saturday it goes losers bracket, winners bracket, essentially until 1 team is left. Now, same deal on the bottom here, all right? East Carolina, the 1 seed in that regional, plays the number 4, number 3, number 2. Now, one step further, let me show you this. So you guys see that? You got your brackets to work from, okay? Here are the odds to win each regional. So Tennessee, minus 280. Southern Miss, plus 370. Indiana, plus 700. Northern Kentucky, plus 5,000. So you see that, and we'll get to the Greenville one in just a second, but let's go through Tennessee Regional here. So Tennessee, heavy favorite here. They actually played Southern Miss in the Super Regional last year. Southern Miss, good baseball team, obviously won 41 games. Indiana, good baseball team. We've hit on them a lot this year, okay? Look, I'm going to go Tennessee here. Look, and as we do this, you guys drop in the chat. If you have any questions about the regional, question about a team, or who you think is going to win it, okay? And again, remember, it is double elimination. The best of, those four. So, look, I'm going to go Tennessee again. You see the odds here, minus 280. Now, if you're going to play that, you're going to have to parlay it with something. Most of the odds aren't that way, but Tennessee being number one team in the country, pretty darn good. Playing at home in Knoxville. And remember this, Lindsey Nelson Stadium in Knoxville, very short porch, okay? Tennessee and Indiana will have advantages here because they are teams that hit the long ball. Southern Miss built on pitching. They can hit too. But Tennessee and Indiana, higher scoring teams, will have their advantages there. So, look, I like Tennessee again, and not just saying that, obviously. I think that they get through here. So if you guys have any thoughts here, let me know. Break it down. Indiana, not a bad play here. Look, again, Southern Miss, good team. I think that if the bats get hot, if you're looking for, a long shot here, plus 700. But again, I'm going to go Tennessee. All right. So drop those into the chat. We'll go to the next one here. East Carolina. All right. Hosting a regional 16 seed. They've got number 2, Wake Forest, number 3, VCU, number 4, Evansville. We'll see. Nicodemus says, DK's not letting you pair regionals. Yeah, you're right. Yep. You know what? You're exactly right. Good call on that one. Yep. Oh, man, my man, Rafi. All right, Sops have Indiana at plus 750. Nice. Look, Indiana's a good team, man. Like, they can get down. They can hit very, very well. They'll fit in very nicely in Knoxville because that is a very small stadium compared to most. So you can get that there. My man, Mark. Good to see you, buddy. Okay, so East Carolina, Wake Forest 2, VCU 3, Evansville number 4. So let's take a look at their odds here. And do you see that? Wake Forest is the favorite. They're not even hosting the regional. Minus 125. East Carolina plus 170. Evansville plus 1,000. VCU plus 1,200. Okay? I agree with this, actually. Now, look. Here's the difficult part. Wake Forest has kind of been a disappointment, quite frankly, all year long. They were the number 1 ranked team in the country coming into the season, but they are playing much better than they did. Much better than they did pretty much throughout almost 3/4 of the season. They are looking like a different team. And their stud pitcher, Chase Burns, those 105 miles an hour, yeah, he was at Tennessee last year. So I kind of dig Wake Forest here. East Carolina, incredible value if you want to take them as the home team, and I'm not counting them out. East Carolina's hosted a regional for a reason. They are fantastic. This is going to be a tough one here to pick through. Yeah, if you go Wake Forest, don't blame you. If you go East Carolina, don't blame you. Yeah, good question on Savage's health, man. It is a major factor, and I think that that's why, and then what William Beats says right here. Look, I think that's a reason why Wake Forest is favorite. Also, Wake Forest is just playing great baseball. So I'm going to roll Wake Forest on this one. I think that they get it done, but if you go East Carolina, don't blame you at all. So how this works, let's just say Tennessee and Wake Forest were to win their respective regionals. They would play each other in the Super Regional. Best 2 out of 3. And it would be hosted by the higher ranked team. So Tennessee, essentially, I mean, the top 8 will host throughout until they get to Omaha if they keep winning. So, all right, that's the first one. Drop your thoughts there in the chat. We'll go to the next. Yeah, Raphael, dude, agree with you, man. They're playing, I mean, phenomenal. Like, I won't put it on screen because it drags down the bandwidth here, but we love D1 baseball. Go to d1baseball.com and go through Wake Forest's run to win the ACC, or to go in the ACC. They ended up losing to Florida State, but still, they playing much better baseball. Okay, so next up, and we're going side bracket by side bracket. So I'll show you. Let me pull it back one second. So if you look on the left side, all right, we just went through the first 2 regionals. The next 2 below it Oklahoma, you see right there. I know it's tough to see on that, but that's how we're doing it. We'll do side bracket 1 and then side bracket 2. Schwab, what up, buddy? Okay, so Oklahoma right there, 37-19, hosting in Norman. Number 2, Duke. Man, that is tough. Duke not hosting a regional and getting put in yours is brutal. UConn, not a bad team. Oral Roberts, not a bad team. Odd to see a tie there. College baseball, you don't see that too often. Let's take a look at the odds here. And look at that. Duke, plus 100, the favorite to win the region. Oklahoma, plus 145. UConn, plus 700. Oral Roberts, plus 1,500. Look, I like Duke. If anybody saw Duke run through the ACC, yeah, they're playing great baseball right now. They beat the hell out of Florida State in the ACC championship, and Florida State's hosting a regional. They're good, right? Yeah, I'm going to roll with Duke here, and you could get it at plus 100. Not bad. Not bad at all right there. Okay, let's go to the next one. Florida State right there, as you see, all right? Hosting it in Tallahassee, 42-15. We've played Florida State, bet on them all year long. Florida State is a team that is built on hitting. Their pitching is okay, starting pitching. Their bullpen can get a little wonky, but boys can mash, man. So Florida State, number 2, Alabama. Alabama started great. Kind of fell off there throughout the year, but tough team. UCF, good team. Number 3, Stetson, not a bad team. Look at these win totals here. The number 4 seed won 40 games. Now, I understand Stetson is in a different strength of schedule, so to say, but still, you win 40 games, you win 40 games, man. Let's see what Jeff says right here. I believe last year we switched from favoring overs to unders because of the size of the park in Omaha. Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute, but yes, Charles Schwab Field in Omaha, where they play the College World Series, it's a major league park and then some. Tennessee, quite frankly, the reason why they've ran into trouble is because the past few years they've been dependent on the home run ball, and that park is big. It is tough to hit bombs, especially if the wind's blowing in. So pay attention to that. It's a great point by Jeff. Pay attention to teams that are dependent on the long ball, Georgia being one of them. And I'm not saying that Georgia can't do other things, but they're just a team that hits a ton of home runs. Same thing with Tennessee. So, yeah, that's a great point right there. All right, so take a look at the odds here to win that. And we've already put in Florida State on the show to win their regional. Still minus 110. That number is going to go. But yeah, Florida State minus 110, Alabama plus 190, UCF plus 550, Stetson plus 1,400. Look, I mean, we just went through how tough that this one is, but again, I think, I already bet Florida State. You saw it on the show. I feel it, but Alabama could play. UCF could play. I don't think Stetson's going to win this one, even though major respect to them. I'm going to roll. Florida State. Right, yeah. Dude, see, that's a good point. Like, if you got a guy who can mash real bombs, dude, they could do it. Ain't no difference. But it's the difference of, some of these college parks are small. Knoxville, we just talked about it, right? So, yeah, if you got a guy who's a natural home run hitter, they won't have any problem. But you just have a decrease in the total amount per team. Elliot, yep, dude, they can put up runs, man. They absolutely can. This is a good point too. This is a good regional for overs here. We'll see when the individual game lines come out, and we'll bet those. I mean, obviously, but yeah, great point, man. They can definitely do it. Grace, yeah, DG, my boy, yeah, Omaha switches to unders, but last year, yep, absolutely, man. Like these teams, especially playing at home, and remember, home crowds too definitely does make a difference. Think about how much home field advantage mattered throughout the regular season in college baseball. It'll definitely matter here. So, all right, I'm going Florida State and Duke to face each other in the Super Regionals, which would be awesome because they just played each other in the ACC Championship. B. Mills says, individual game lines, they are. You're exactly right. I was looking at that earlier. They've got some of them coming out already, and you might not have all of them on Fridays when you have like 1 and 4 seeds, like Tennessee, Northern Kentucky. They probably won't put that out. Raphael, like he's better than me in regards to like how the books will approach this. Way better. I mean, clearly, has the experience. If you have any questions like book specific, hit him up in the chat. Hit him up. If you're watching this later on Twitter, yeah, he'll definitely help you out with that for sure. Okay, so let's go to the next one here. So sorry. I had to get some water here. And Omar, you're good, buddy. Good to have you, bro. All right. So Arkansas in Fayetteville, they're the number one seed in that region, hosting. They will play Southeast Missouri State. Then you've got Louisiana Tech and Kansas State. Louisiana Tech, a very, very elite baseball team. Pitching gets it done. We've talked about them all year long. They're a team. If you're looking for unders, that's your team. Now, they can score runs, but that's not their game. That's not their game. Like, they are going to choke you out. Arkansas is the exact same way. If you see Arkansas and Louisiana Tech play each other, to advance out of this region, yeah, pay attention to that one. All right, so the odds: Arkansas minus 190, Kansas State plus 350, Louisiana Tech plus 450, Southeast Missouri State plus 2,500. Kansas State, good baseball team. Nothing against SEMO there. Don't think that they're going to get the job done, but I don't think Kansas State will. I think this is Arkansas or Louisiana Tech. If you're looking for super value there, a run at Louisiana Tech's not bad. Like, they can play with Arkansas. They play the exact same game as Arkansas. And Arkansas, quite frankly, hasn't been great down the stretch, but they're talented. They are excellently coached, managed. They're a really good baseball team. So I'll go with Arkansas here, but Louisiana Tech, they're a live dog. You know what I mean? They're very live. All right. The next one below it, Virginia, the number one seed in the region, hosting in Charlottesville. You've got 2, Mississippi State, 3, St. John's. All right. Hey, look at that. Shout out to Howie. And number 4, Penn. So Penn, I really wouldn't count on that. I don't know if I'd count on St. John's, even though great story behind that team and what they did to get here. But I think that they'll just be overpowered. Mississippi State, quite frankly, if Virginia's playing its game, I don't think that they can take down Virginia. Take a look at the odds here. Virginia minus 120, good value there. We already played it here on Driving the Line. Mississippi State plus 130, St. John's plus 1,300, Pennsylvania plus Penn, plus 2,500. Yeah, look, Brian, you're right. Mississippi State, they were literally 16-17, like Arizona taking the region or taking the tournament. Yeah, that's kind of basically what knocked them out. Jeff says water or ocean water. So ocean water, you already know the answer to that one. Yeah, so if you like Virginia, great value there, man. Minus 120. I think this comes down to either them or Mississippi State. Look at the odds after Mississippi State. So, yeah, I mean, I don't hate taking the Bulldogs here, but for me, man, going Virginia. It's just too much. So, all right. Next one, Arizona. We talked about right there, hosting the regional there in Tucson. Number 2, Dallas Baptist. Dallas Baptist is a team we bet on a ton this year. Number 3, West Virginia is a team that we bet on a lot. And Grand Canyon, I'm telling you, this region right here is up for grabs. Completely up for grabs. Whoever brings the bats to this, if you want to play overs, this is your region right here. All right, let's take a look at the odds. Look at that. Tucson. Dallas Baptist, the favorite, plus 175. Arizona co-favorite, plus 175. West Virginia, 330. Grand Canyon, 650. Look at that. You're not going to have very many regionals where all 4 are under 700. Look, I haven't bet on this one because it is way up in the air. Absolutely. You're going to find, if you could pick this one, you're going to get your value on it because any of these 4 teams, any of them, can take this thing down. Corey says, curious as whole in your comment level, if you pick any one team to be their regional winner, who would that be? Florida State. I would take Florida State. Like if we're banking on the juice counted in as well, Florida State. And I'll jump back to it real quick just so you can see. I'm a big believer in Florida State, and I think that they're much better than Alabama, much better than UCF, much better than Stetson. Now, not saying those teams aren't good, but at that value at minus 110, dude, Florida State. Absolutely. That is my favorite in that question. So, okay. So that's the top one right there. And again, I'll pull the odds. Look, you can pick this one. You're going to get value. Like, you're definitely going to get value because any of the, I'm telling you, Grand Canyon can play with any of these teams, any of them. They're good. They're very good. So, yeah, that's up for grabs there. Okay, North Carolina. Look, hey, let me go back to it. Corey, to your question in regards to confidence level, North Carolina, number 2. And that's nothing against LSU, but North Carolina they're studs. They're absolute studs. So you see North Carolina, number 1, LSU, the number 2. Wofford, number 3. Wofford, they're going to put up runs. Number 4, LIU. So let's take a look at the odds here. North Carolina, minus 110. I'm telling you, I like the Tar Heels. They are go look, d1baseball.com. Take a look at North Carolina, their recent history. I mean, quite frankly, all year. They're a good baseball team, man. LSU, again, yeah. Don't hate it. Me personally, I like North Carolina, but LSU got to the SEC championship against Tennessee, almost won it. Playing much different than they did to start the year, but North Carolina's just been way more consistent. Wofford has the opportunity to go ham. I'm not kidding. Like, they can score 20 runs in a game. Yep, LSU's bats are hot. Could get them going. Agreed. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't hate LSU. But for me, it's North Carolina. But again, anybody who takes and you guys know how much I love LSU, man. Like, they mean something to us, and great people there. They've taken care of us. But yeah, man, North Carolina, yeah, that's the one for me. All right, so now that is the end of the first bracket. All right, 8 regionals right there. So we'll go to bracket 2, and this starts with Kentucky being the number 2 seed. So I'll pull back up here so you can see. All right, Tennessee 1, Kentucky 2. So they're on the opposite sides here. Kentucky will go up against the winner of Kentucky's regional will go against the winner of the 15 regional, Oregon State. So we'll go back to Kentucky. So we're starting on the other side. So you've got Kentucky hosting it, Lexington, number 2, Indiana State. Y'all know how much we love Indiana State. Y'all know how much we love number 3, Illinois. Western Michigan, nothing against them, but they're not winning this region. That being said, 1 through 3 can absolutely win this region. That's nothing against Kentucky at all. But yeah, you got some good teams that can score a lot of runs here. And here are your odds. Yeah, Kentucky minus 155. Pretty high juice there. Indiana State plus 260. Illinois plus 550. Western Michigan plus 1,800. Illinois has fallen off a little bit from where they were midseason, but like they just like the scary part is that they just have the opportunity to go hard in the paint quick, man, and put up a ton of runs. But Kentucky's got great pitching. There's a reason why they're the number 2 seed overall, and a reason why obviously they're hosting. So I'll pick Kentucky to win it. I'm not going to bet it minus 155. If you're looking for value, Indiana State or Illinois, it's not a bad way to go. But I'll take Kentucky on that one. Okay, so let's drop down to the next one. Oregon State, 15 seed overall, but number 1 in their region, obviously hosting in Corvallis. Number 2, UC Irvine. Look out, 3 Nichols and 4 Tulane. Okay, UC Irvine's very good. We've bet them a lot. Very good. Nichols, we didn't get to bet them much because the books they're just not going to give you that option. Not to mention, Nichols can put up 1,000 runs at any moment, dude. Any moment. Tulane, another good team. Like, this is a wild region right here. Like, any of these 4 teams could theoretically win. Oh man, like Oregon State was our squad for the first 7 weeks, and then the book stopped letting us bet it. But then they fell off just a little bit. But if Oregon State is Oregon State, I'll roll with them. But that being said, look at your odds. Minus 115. UC Irvine plus 190. Great value on UC Irvine. If you want to take a shot at, a plus 190 to win it, great shot. They could get it done. Tulane can get it done. Shout out my man John Bowman there. And Nicholls State again. Like, I love Nicholls State. Look, if you get Nicholls State and Tulane, basically Nicholls State, like any of these games, play the over. Just trust me. Play the over if it's anything under 15 and a half, because runs will be insane. I'll roll Oregon State, but like if you're going UC Irvine, buddy, I don't hate that one at all. All right, let's jump to the next one. NC State hosting a regional there, obviously. Number 2, South Carolina. Number 3, James Madison. Number 4, Bryant. So James Madison's a baseball team. Bryant, good. They're not going to win it. James Madison, not going to win it. It's going to be NC State or South Carolina. Watch this. I'm taking NC State, but South Carolina is your favorite, plus 115. NC State at home, plus 125. James Madison, plus 600. Bryant, plus 2,000. Look, I think you could knock Madison and Bryant out of this. It's going to be South Carolina or NC State. Now, yes, it is at home, and NC State, their fans are proud. And NC State's been, they've been to the College World Series recently. This team is very good. South Carolina playing better. I don't think South Carolina is going to do it. I'll roll NC State. Give me the plus 125, a little bit of second place underdog here on that one. I'll take the NC State squad. All right, next one. So Georgia regional. Okay. In Athens, Georgia. Georgia's the number 1. Number 2, UNC Dub. Number 3, Georgia Tech. Number 4, Army. Army, good baseball team. And they're not like the football team. They can score, but they're not winning this one. You're going to have to score runs. So take a look at the odds here. Georgia minus 125. Georgia Tech plus 250. UNC Dub plus 390. Army plus 2,500. Let me tell you, Georgia Tech can win this regional. UNC Dub can very much win this regional. Here's the problem. If Georgia's on its game and scoring like they do, good luck. Because you are going to have to score 14 runs to stay in that game. If they're not, look out, Georgia. Georgia Tech is like Louisville. We compared them all year long. They're almost the exact same team. But they have to, like, Georgia Tech wants to muddy up a game. And they can do it. Like, Georgia Tech and Army could be a great under. Georgia Tech and UNC Dub, Georgia Tech could get blown out by Georgia, even though there would theoretically be a decent amount of Georgia Tech fans in Athens. Not too terribly far from Atlanta, but I have to roll Georgia here. I haven't bet it yet. Minus 125. A little juicy. I mean, not really. It's regionals, but yeah. My bet's Georgia. But if you go, like, I would bet UNC Dub or Georgia. I wouldn't bet Georgia Tech, and I wouldn't bet Army. I would bet one of those two. So, yeah, if you're looking for a little value, you might be able to find it in the Dub, but I'm going Georgia. They're too good. Okay, next one. Clemson. Number 1 seed. Number 2, Vanderbilt. Number 3, Coastal Carolina. And number 4, High Point. Shout out to High Point. Absolutely. Look, and it feels like my face hasn't been on screen for a while, so I'll put it out here just so it's not an AI robot that's talking here. But, yeah, like Clemson, let's take a look at the odds because I want to look at that before we break it down. Clemson, plus 105. Vanderbilt, plus 160. Coastal Carolina, plus 450. High Point, plus 3,500. I'm going to take Clemson. They're a phenomenal baseball team. Nothing against Vanderbilt. And look, the Clemson connection with Tim Corbin, Vanderbilt's head coach. I mean, that's noted, obviously, but yeah. B-Mills, Clemson did get screwed in this region. They did. Clemson, Vanderbilt, Coastal Carolina can win this region. Coastal Carolina was our squad, and then they completely fell off with their bullpens. That's the problem with Coastal Carolina. They have to score 14 runs because they're going to give up 13 runs at minimum. You can play overs there. Vanderbilt can win this region, playing good baseball. Problem Vanderbilt is their bullpens, quite frankly. But Vanderbilt will get a lead on you. They just tend to give it up. Coastal Carolina, exact same way as we just said. I'm going to take Clemson here, but if you roll with Vandy or Coastal, looking for a shot, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. But I'll roll with Clemson here. Even though, yeah, Mills, that one is tough. Bill says, really like Clemson, their coach. Yep, took Mr. E. Oh, dude, he's an excellent baseball coach. Yep, excellent baseball coach, man. Yep, absolutely agree. Like that and many other reasons, I'll roll with Clemson. But yeah, if anybody goes Coastal or Vandy, I get it. I totally get it. This will be a region where we bet game by game because there'll be a ton of fun. All right, so let's go to the next one here. Oklahoma State in Stillwater hosting their regional, 14-17 on the year. Number 2, Nebraska. Number 3, Florida. Number 4, Niagara. Niagara way better team than people will give them credit for. They ain't winning this region, but yeah, they're a good baseball team, man. Nebraska, very good baseball team. They just won the Big Ten. Florida, we will not be betting on Florida at all. However, this is the danger of Florida being put in here, is that they can hit. They can hit, and their pitching gets them in trouble, but they've had a problem, and it's not talent. They've had, how do I say this, a clubhouse issue, and I don't know what that is. Like, I'm just thinking out loud. I'm not saying like I know something I don't, but talent's not the problem with Florida, and that's the scary part, because you get in a tournament like this, and they get hot, good luck. They could roll through this entire region unscathed. Like, they have the talent to do it. I'm not going to bet them to do it, but they've got the talent to do it. Let's take a look at the odds here. Oklahoma State, yeah, plus 100. Look at that. Florida, plus 175. They're the 3 seed. Nebraska, the number 2, plus 390. Niagara, plus 4,500. Yeah. You can take Nebraska. You can take Niagara out of it, but this one's tough. This one's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. I don't want anything to do with betting it, at least right now. Might want to see a game first. Might want to see Fridays. But that Florida-Nebraska game will tell you a lot. Tell you a whole lot. Nebraska, I love you. Be careful. Be careful. If Florida wins their first game, be careful. Look out, man. If you're looking to take a shot in the dark, not bad. I'm not betting it because they have screwed me a trillion times this year. Same with you guys, but no. But be careful, man. Now, if Florida loses the first game, they can absolutely just quit this thing and be out in 2 games. But be careful with that one. So, if anybody has any good thoughts on it, let me know, because I don't. I don't on this one. I'll be honest. All right. Got on the list here. You see Santa Barbara, the Gauchos. We've played a lot of Santa Barbara this year. Love the Gauchos there. San Diego. We bet them a lot. Oregon. Bet them a lot. Fresno State. I bet them a couple times. Look, I don't think Fresno State can win this one, but any of the other 3 can. They absolutely can. Let's take a look at the odds. Santa Barbara, the favorite, plus 135. Take a look at that there. San Diego, plus 250. Oregon, plus 250. Fresno State, plus 900. Yeah. Like, I'll roll Santa Barbara here because that is great juice for a team that is hosting. And, yeah. I don't have how do I put this? Not that I'm down on Santa Barbara. This is a tough region. Oregon could go unscathed in this thing. Like, this one's tough. I'll roll Santa Barbara here, but yeah, watch on Friday. This thing could get wild very quickly, and you're gonna have late games here. Pay attention to the totals. We'll break those down when they come out. You can get some really nice numbers and blast on some overs there. All right, so let's go to the next one here. Texas A&M. Texas A&M is a squad, son. They're a wagon. But so is Louisiana. Texas, my goodness. And Grambling rounds it out there. Your 4 that are playing in Bryan College Station. So take a look at the odds. A&M minus 150. Texas plus 275. Look at that. Texas the 3 seed. That's another danger zone. Louisiana plus 370. Grambling plus 10,000. You can take Grambling out of it. Louisiana, they get it done by pitching. They play very low scoring games. They're very good on the mound. So is Texas A&M. Texas, I'm not betting them. Plus 275, not a bad number. Yeah. I'll roll Texas A&M, although I'm not going to play minus 150 standalone. But yeah, this one has potential for danger. It's not exactly the one above or the region with Florida in it. It's not that risky, but A&M needs to handle Grambling game 1. And let me just break this part down. We'll get out of there. So let me break this part down, and I'll pull myself back on screen. Here's the deal. You're going to see teams like Texas A&M, Kentucky, Tennessee. Let me pull up the top 16 seeds here, okay? So you're going to see some of these teams, like we just saw, A&M against Grambling on Friday, game 1, like they'll throw their number 2 pitcher because they're essentially thinking that they can win that game with their number 2 and save their number 1 for game 2 in that region, right? Some might even save it all the way till Sunday. But pay attention to that. Tennessee could do it. I don't know if Kentucky does it. Kentucky's just has they've got a lot of good pitchers, so I don't think it matters. A&M could do it. Arkansas could do it. That might be it. But pay attention to that because that's a real thing, and you could see unders coming Friday and Saturday for some of those teams, if that makes sense, right? So pay attention to that. Be careful. Yeah. Wake Forest might try that. Like, Wake Forest might try that. Keep an eye there. They might go with that operation. Jose says, outside of number 1 seeds, who is your dark horse? Okay, so I'll tell you what. So let's go through here and look at who we think the Super Regional is going to be. And I'm with you. That's a great question. Wake Forest is there. Yeah, they're definitely there. I think that we have Tennessee and Wake Forest playing in that Super Regional. Next one. Yeah, man. Duke, Florida State. I don't see any big upsets like dark horses coming in this one. I think it's pretty standard fare. I mean, number 2, Duke, taking out number 1, Oklahoma. I mean, that's obviously a little bit of an upset, but not too terribly much. Arkansas, Louisiana Tech could be a dark horse. I don't know if they do, but they fall in that category. Virginia, I think they handle their business. Nothing there. Arizona, the Tucson regional, dude, Dallas Baptist, West Virginia. Like, West Virginia is great for a series. Like, I don't think that they go all the way, but they can hit well enough to screw you up. Dallas Baptist, they definitely fall in that category. North Carolina, I'm rolling with them, even though if you feel LSU, I like them. Kentucky, dude, Indiana State could definitely be in that category. UC Irvine could be in that category. NC State, I think they get the job done. Georgia, I think they get the job done. I mean, if Coastal Carolina is hitting like they did, they're definitely in that category because you're going to have to score 15 runs to be in that game. Although I'll roll Clemson here. They're just too damn good. Florida's a dark horse, dude. Just saying it. Watch out. They're risky as hell. Nebraska's a dark horse. They're good. Nebraska has very good pitching. They need run support. But they fall in that category for sure. But Florida, like, as much as I hate to say it, because they screwed us up a lot this year, dude. Like, be careful. Let me go through this. Let me finish it up here. Santa Barbara, dude. San Diego, watch out for them. They're a good baseball team. Nothing out of Texas A&M. Okay, so Brian says, can Duke win a super regional? So let's do this real quick. Get back here. Tennessee and Wake. You'd have Tennessee favored, but Wake could win that super regional. Duke, Florida State. Duke can 1,000% win a super regional. They are that damn good. They can pitch as good as anybody in the country. They can hit as well as anybody in the country. Duke can absolutely win that super regional. Florida State could absolutely win that super regional. That's going to be a great series. I'm telling you, man. So yeah, both of those teams very much could get to Omaha. I think Arkansas is the only one in that top 4 that could get to Omaha. Virginia, maybe. Mississippi State, maybe. But I'm not betting on it. Virginia, I think, is the only one. Yeah. Brian says, which non-top seed has the best chance? Okay. Hang tight. Let's see. I don't think anybody in the top region, Arizona region, will win the super regional. I like North Carolina or LSU, I think, would handle both of them. LSU is an option there. Like I think North Carolina wins that regional and knocks LSU out, but LSU's got a good shot at doing it. Illinois and Indiana State could do it because look at the bottom region, right? Like they could play with any of those teams. So that's another thing to think of if you're betting on teams to make the College World Series. Like, look at their matchups. Like, Wake Forest, it's a brutal spot because if they win it, they have to play Tennessee. Brutal spot for Tennessee because they've got to play Wake Forest. But look at this one, right? Like, if Kentucky wins its region, Kentucky could absolutely manhandle any of those four. Now, they could get beat, too. UC Irvine's excellent. Oregon State, love them. But those options are there. Indiana State, Illinois, UC Irvine. Very good options, man. Very good options right there if you're looking at a non-1 seed. NC State could make the College World Series. I don't think South Carolina could. Georgia, I think Georgia's the only one in their region that could make the College World Series. So I think it'd be Georgia and NC State, both 1 seeds. Doesn't answer your question there. Clemson, look, Vanderbilt could get there. Coastal Carolina could get there. Because look at their super regional matchup. Oklahoma, like they could play with any of those 4 teams, any of them. Like Vanderbilt was ranked number 1 in the country earlier this year. Like Coastal Carolina was close. Like it stinks that they have to play Clemson and get through it. But if they do, like Vandy or Coastal Carolina, I'm not saying easily, but they could walk into that super regional against Oklahoma State, Niagara, Florida, Nebraska, any of them, and win in 2 games. I'm not saying they do, but they could. They're very good enough to do that. So Vanderbilt, Coastal Carolina, definitely in that. Yeah, I don't know if Oklahoma State can get to Omaha. I don't know if Nebraska can. Florida. I don't know if Florida can. Like I think if they get to a super regional, look out because it's a best of 3. But nah, I don't feel it there. I think that it's Clemson, Coastal, or Vanderbilt on that one. Then the last one here. Santa Barbara, Oregon, San Diego. I think we can knock out Fresno State, as we mentioned. Santa Barbara, let me say, Santa Barbara and Oregon and San Diego could play with Texas A&M. I don't think that they beat them in College Station in a best of 3, but it's possible. I don't think anybody I don't see Texas A&M. Like I don't see Texas A&M losing their region. Like they're not going to be afraid of Texas. They're not going to be like these are basically almost. I mean, home game. I mean, obviously it is College Station, but like they're not afraid of Texas fans. They're not afraid of losing. Like Texas A&M is if they do them, they play their game. Nah, they're going to win that region. And I think that quite frankly they'll win the super regional. So I wouldn't go there. But yeah, like Vanderbilt, Coastal Carolina, definitely options there. Dallas Baptist, Illinois, Indiana State. Look, I'm just telling you, man, look the hell out. And LSU. I think that one answers your question there. B-Bill says, have you looked at any lines on individual games? Got a bunch of tempting money line parlays. So I just started looking at that. Nothing that I haven't looked at it in full. So I fortunately I can't answer the question just yet because I want to see all of them come out. And it's gonna be the same deal. We're gonna have money lines until Friday, and then we'll get totals a couple hours before the game. So yeah, like I haven't yet, Millsy, but I will. And we'll definitely talk about that for sure. So again, all right, that kind of brings us to an end there. So if I had to pick the 8 teams that I think get to Omaha, here's who it would be. Go Tennessee, although Wake Forest is definitely a risk there. But I'll go Tennessee. Oh, this is tough. If it's Duke, Florida State, Super Regional, I'll go Duke. No, I'll go Florida State. Although either of them could do it. I think that Florida State could get this thing done. God, that's tough because Duke has much better pitching. That one's tough. It Duke or Florida State. I think Arkansas gets through. I'm going to go Virginia. I think that I trust Virginia more than I trust Arkansas. North Carolina. Yep, North Carolina. I think that they win throughout and get to Omaha. God, this little quadrant of two. Good God. I mean, I'll bet I'll take Kentucky, I guess, but man, that one's tough. Now give me Oregon State. Give me Oregon State. I think Oregon State gets the job done. NC State. I think that they get to the World Series here. Georgia definitely could. They score so many damn runs. But I'll go NC State. I think that they're the best team in these 8 right here. Clemson. I'll go Clemson to get to Omaha out of these 8. Even though we've mentioned it. Yeah, God, that's hard. But I'll go Clemson. And I'll go A&M. Yep, so we've got our 8. Texas A&M, Clemson, NC State, Oregon State. That's on your right side of the bracket. Left side, North Carolina, Virginia, Florida State. Yeah, we'll go Florida State. That one's tough with Duke. And Tennessee. So there you go. That'd be a great 8 right there. But again, we say that, and it's like the NCAA tournament in basketball. What you think, it doesn't always play out, man. It gets wild here, especially in super regionals, because things get tight. They get super tight. All right. So everybody, thank you so much. That's all I got. I'll say this. We'll do this next week before super regionals, and we'll do it again before the College World Series. And I'm working on a special guest to come, somebody that you're very familiar with and trust his baseball picks. He is a smart guy. I like him. Working on him to get for the next round. So, yeah, we'll do this again next week. Super Regionals, do it again before the College World Series. So don't fret there. And, of course, I mean, we're going to talk about this on the morning show every single morning leading up and throughout all weekend long, everything, you name it. So, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, obviously hit me up. Let me know. But till then, best of luck. Let's cash these regional tickets, all right? And we will see you later.